I swear a lot.
Hello friends and welcome back to Limbus Company, welcome back to the Twining Threads. So, last time, it's good stuff. I was interested, for sure. We fought like arts druids, which is cool. I like druids, so, you know, that worked for me. But there's much more to see and much more to do and much more to find out. Like, I'm particularly interested in finding out more about Gregor right now, because it sounds like he's having a very rough time. I think it might be a minute before we see Gregor again, but I'm hoping today we'll at least get a little bit of a snippet. This seems like it'll be about Sinclair, because it's talking about the sign. Hohenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab, lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes, all designed to make him look like he does more than he actually does. I didn't know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. I assume that it's like a forward research post set up by Limbus. Almost exactly what I said. This is a forward base constructed by Limbus Company following Operation Spider Pie. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation. So are we just gonna fucking set up here permanently, or are we just here to fucking see what we can find out, see what we can get, and then bounce? Because it would be pretty funny for Limbus to just be like, hey, this is our fucking branch office now, wherever the fuck this is. Irregular phenomena? An example. Research subjects such as a spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner 11's sign and the manifestation of possible future. Yeah. That's a pretty big one, actually. Oh. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had dragged him off earlier. Clearly, he's having a great time. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either watch the show or kill some time while they took a breather after work. Hohenheim, how long will the examination take? With Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded, the analyzer device should be available for the relic now. Oh. Which means it should be finished in an hour from now, at the latest. The scabbard rattled again at the mention of an hour. Jeez, Araya, for someone who spent 1,000,000 years in a box. Figured you could wait another hour. I don't know why or how, but the way it swayed almost felt like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshu. I expect you will want to witness the procedure. Tell your sword to get a grip. Fine. Ryoshu and Hohenheim headed off to the side. The examination was probably going to start immediately. Time to get Sinclair, then... Wait. I was making my way towards Sinclair, who was getting bombarded with questions, when an unexpected figure behind a pillar caught my eye. Oh my god, it's Leiheng. Okay, that's more... that makes a lot more sense. It was Vesper Crabbro. That's his name? That's what you went with? Sure. With a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Is he that bad at delivering messages? Snack thief. You stole one of Ezra's snacks, didn't you? Ah, manager. Oh, Karen's snacks. Mr. Stringbean ate up all of them. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Verg, kick his ass. Fight him, Verg. Verg, fight him. Do it. Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Karen also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I would prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Understood. Charon. Charon super sulky mode engaged, not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass bitter candy. Beep beep mode disabled. I'm not sure if this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Karen forgives this time, next time no mercy. Best make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Vergilius looked on with an inscrutable expression as Karen peeled the snack thief sign off Vesper's back. Make sure to remember this so I don't have to think I'm burning through what little candy chance I have left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Vesper gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it into his mouth. Wait a minute, I was saving that for later. I assumed you were being picky. Damn, he really is a snack thief. Well, now you know. Yeah, I still see you gobbling up my share. You took my snack too, Verg, kick his ass. Rodion Romanovich. I have no idea if that's how it's pronounced. I am aware that half of the total snack budget allocated to each sinner is being funneled into your snacking expenses, and now you're raiding the LCE supplies as well. Chill, that's how it's been agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that, and this is this. Where did you hear that? He's gonna grab her by the shoulders and be like, where did you hear that line? Who said that to you? The lines on Vergilius' brow looked deeper than usual today. And also, this is obviously basically full confirmation that next Walpurgis Nacht it means that Rodia will be getting the Black Silence ID. So, yeah, because next Walpurgis Nacht is going to be Ruiner-based, isn't it? 'Cause the last one was Lobcorp-based. Yep, she's going to be the Black Silence. That's all. That is literally confirmed, and if it actually doesn't turn out to be that way, I will just stop playing. I'll delete every fucking Limbus video off this channel. That's how confident I am. Hoping to help him out of this endless cycle of snack-related headaches and to satisfy my own nagging curiosity, I drew near our guide and broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Which I know what they mean, but I pictured Dante just walking up with their phone, showing Vergilius some TikToks. Like, look, this is a dog. Look, it can talk. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign. I've heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it, because even Sinclair doesn't really understand how he did it. Observation of the sign has so far been limited to 2 individuals, the manager and Sinclair. Due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon, the only verifiable information has so far been its existence, which is about right. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Faust has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the sinners can actually see the sign. And the same would go for the researchers. Even Sonia said only a select few people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing signs, there would be a wider pool for a comparative analysis of statistical samples to narrow down the scope. But that ain't the case now, is it? Although there are more individuals, it's just we don't have access to them. However, records indicate no suitable references exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables such as whether or not the irregular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing signs, do you mean people like Demian and Sanson? Wait, then could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpowered future self and just wreck everything? Well, Demian doesn't need to, for a start. Even Sonia? I should step in and put an end to this subject before Rodia gets the blues. Too late. I don't think so. From what Ishmael and Faust reported back then. Right, Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. I do remember that, yeah. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings Demian used to finish off Chroma or Sanson dragging us into his story. Those could be it, probably. I guess Demian lucked out pretty hard if he just has fucking laser beams. Aye, that doth seem plausible. So none of that is information we can confirm yet. It's all conjecture. Correct. As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proven yet, ergo fear would be an unnecessary response at present. But wait, I have yet to have spoken. This is, at best, grounded in supposition, but it would seem that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self. All that. That bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah? Precise position of the hypothesis was that the fundamental principles of the sign's working may be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. Interesting. But as no actionable evidence was obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which this hypothesis may be validated. Which basically means all of this means nothing until it's proven to mean something. I see, then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research. Maybe if they'd been allowed to stab him with knives, we might have gotten more answers. Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway? Oh, no, I mean, look, Sinclair, these are my bosses, all right? I have to... Come on now, be a team player. I'm kidding, just thought I'd try going along with the mood. The old Sinclair wouldn't have even thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately. For the better, I think. I would like to think so, if he's at least happier. So did anything happen that we should worry about? I stuck close to him just in case nothing serious came up. Whenever it was, I would, with a deadpan expression, raise my mace, and then it would stop. And then another researcher would suggest something, and I would raise my shield, and then they would stop. It's amazing how much conversational power you have when you're holding a mace and shield. Just took some blood, small skin sample. Oh, and they were also checking if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation, so they shocked his face a lot. I didn't interrupt that because it was kind of funny. Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too. My favorite color, my favorite food. Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories at that moment have yet to return. No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Faust said they only exist with my future self, so... But wait, for my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first? Well, it would be pretty funny. I think I even said this back during Canto 9. But it would be very funny to have some kind of, whether it's Limbus or a different game that they make, where we're hanging out with a certain Sinclair, and then, or even playing as a certain Sinclair, whichever you prefer, and then suddenly, randomly, at some point, he just instantaneously disappears. And that's because he's being dragged to Canto 9 to deal with Callisto. It would be even cooler if that was playable, you know, if we were playing as a certain Sinclair, but we've also established that the future that certain Sinclair comes from might not even come to pass, so that might not even be a thing. But it'd be fucking sick if it was. A paradox it would seem, in such a case. A Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures, but you're out of your fucking mind if you think that the fanbase don't want to see the second Smoke War. Need that shit, kinda. If the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into grains more fleeting than dust, to diminish to ever reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested? Vis-a-vis, it's virtually impossible for us to either predict or proactively do anything to prevent such a future. Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again, more of that nonsense only you lot understand. Oi, memory or not, that future guy still came out of him, didn't he? Then some part of him's got to be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Perhaps he could still pull off some of those tricks from back then. I mean, they both know the same special move, but I don't think Sinclair knows how to wield a bastard sword, much less alongside his halberd. At least not yet. Tricks from back then? Yeah, you know. You, like, invented a different kind of fucking coin. Or maybe Gregor did, I can't remember the order in which that was shown. You kicked off proper out there, even pulled out that trick you picked up from that plastered old geezer, right? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Not just that, he was using that Mang technique quite effortlessly too. Which is quite a lot. Oh, that glowing ring thing! The glowing ring thing, he had two of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing? That's awesome! Oh, I can't wait for the future. This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Well, Dante probably should have mentioned this, yeah? Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capability? I mean, I guess that flashy aura that makes you real tough's one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? Dunno, could be a secret finger thing they pass down to their members. Technique, gear, something like that. Look at it, that black coney leader, that Leiheng prick, and nurse fathers we fought. A whole lot of them's finger, ain't they? The notion seems to unravel, for even among the LCD there were those who came to wield it, and plus where the fuck would... Although, no, where the fuck would Sinclair have learned that when he's not even affiliated with any fingers? I guess he could have been in the future, it's not impossible. And Vergilius too. So what, only the proper odd bastards can use it? Some posh top-end trick, is it? Without anyone in particular prompting it, the sinners slowly turn their gaze toward Vergilius and Vesper, the two people who use it and would provide the most input at this exact moment. I only learned to wield it from my team leader too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are some rumors, though they are all without proper sources. Rumors? They circulated among elite fixers and association leadership, that there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. So I have no idea if this is necessarily what they're going for, because I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it's going that way, but it might be, and I'll discuss it anyway. But it kind of feels like a metaphor for the reverse order of the modernization of weapons and the ability to use them in the real world. Hear me out. I know it sounds a bit silly, but hear me out. Back around medieval times leading into later on points, like crossbows started to become more of a thing, right? And that changed the face of combat quite significantly, because a bow is a weapon that requires like strength training and skill in order to use effectively. And a lot of bows would struggle to punch through plate mail. Some could, like English longbows could, for example, but a lot of bows couldn't. But a crossbow requires significantly less training, like no strength training at all, and can punch through armor. So a crossbow was a sign of the times. It was a modernization of arms, weaponry, and warfare, where it's like, okay, the face of warfare now has to change because this is starting to tip the scale. An armored knight is not the fucking tide turner it used to be, right? And then, of course, we move on to, like, guns, for example, and the effect that guns had on places like, say, Japan, where the samurai were an entrenched warrior caste who were made completely obsolete by firearms and conscripted infantry. And of course, that was the same across the world as well, where gunpowder became a big deal and changed the face of warfare. And we continue to see developments along these lines, leading up to and including the 21st century. We'll probably see it even more as the century goes on. Drone strikes are a thing now, unfortunately. Why I bring this up is because the introduction of Shin feels like a similar idea, but the reverse, if you know what I mean. Augmentations and prostheses exist in the city to give you a massive fucking leg up at significant financial cost, but no requirement of strength or skill, right? Now, don't get me wrong, you kind of, it's still good to be a good fighter, but a prosthesis can allow you to punch through a wall without you necessarily being good at punching, to offer a really basic and kind of silly example. Shin feels like a situation where it's like, okay, well, now you don't need to pay for prostheses. That just comes from personal training and strength and perhaps spiritual balance, any number of things that might be. I don't know, it hasn't been fully confirmed yet, or at least I'm not aware of all the reasons yet. And what's interesting is this feels like a metaphor for that historical precedent of personal prowess being trumped by the modernization of technology, weaponry, and available equipment. But this is being done in the reverse order. We had modern equipment and armaments and weaponry and prostheses first, and now we're discovering this ability that allows you to become equivalently powerful without using such things, or even more powerful, because these Shin users are serious fucking business. So it's a metaphorical arms race in the reverse order of how it existed in real life. Once again, I don't know if that's necessarily the parallel they're going for with this introduction, but it's interesting, and the mentioning of, at this exact moment, and the way it's described, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs, it is being mentioned in direct comparison to prosthetics and augmentations. The only other game I've seen which actually approached this topic was called Too Human, where you had two upgrade trees. You could either lean into your personal prowess and strength as like a biological entity, or you could lean hard into cybernetics. It was a game with ridiculously cool concepts that turned out to be utter fucking shite. It's the only other place I can think of. I'm sure there are other examples, it's just that's all I've experienced. But that's very interesting that we're presenting it in this manner. It also might shed some light on the Second Smoke War, as it might lean more into a war between why there's now another war between augmentation and prosthetic users and those who don't use them. On the one hand, you have Shin and Mang users. On the other hand, you have people who are upgrading themselves with augmetics and shit. I don't know, we'll fucking see, but it's fun to speculate. A rumor among fixers, sayest thou, and I was not in the loop? Yes, even the technique to manifest it. How-to tips, really, spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. That super rookie column in the latest mag bonus vid. Bro was really popping off of it, straight up aura farmed with a shiny Mang wrapped around the weapon. It must be that mine eyes are yet privy to seeing such a marvel in a video. Were you serious? It's in the latest issue, literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it? Video? Tape? Alas, for many a week have I been stranded from Mephi, relieving me of a chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Yeah, we've been off the bus a lot recently. Oh, woe is me. When I return, I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of adventuring fixers. As Don Quixote dramatically spiraled into a state of utter dejection, Otis got into the conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion as it typically does. From what I recall, the Mantle of Shin grants its users a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. That's an interesting way to approach it, Otis, and I appreciate you bringing this up. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent, like prosthesis and augmentation. So it's not a constant power boost, it's a limited... It's going Super Saiyan! It just is! Don't pretend you're not ripping off Dragon Ball Z at least a little bit. For fuck's sake, you had Future Trunks come back in time and kill Frieza, and you even had a track that would fit behind an AMV of Dragon Ball Z footage. I am talking about the Cern Sinclair fight. Bro literally brought Future Trunks back to the past to kill Frieza. A Cern Sinclair coming back to kill Callisto. He even has a sword, for fuck's sake. But the point, jokes aside, obviously, is that, you know, augmentations and prostheses are always active, for the most part. There might be certain ones that vary, but, like, you know, you've always got a bionic arm, but you can't always have Mang and Shin on. It's interesting, because it sounds like it kind of draws from the same area as manifesting ego. It has differences. There are definitely differences. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but it sounds like they might be related. And depending on how it is used, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. Well, it certainly seems like a means by which to even the playing field if you don't meet a variety of criteria, but this does raise more questions, actually. I just thought of something that kind of pokes a hole in what I just said, because Vergilius has Shin and Mang, and also has ego. So if they were related, if they were that similar, Vergilius would know, because he's the one who fucking uses them, right? You mean to say that it exacts a toll upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you like. From what I observed, it appears to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, is it not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research. And according to her, physical strength itself has a little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. Yeah, it seems more mental. As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is in essence a power that can be learned by almost anyone provided they know the proper method of training. Okay, so it is accessible as such, in a sense. Vesper's brows visibly twitched the moment Yellow Harpoon left Vergilius's lips. Do you not like that name, Vesper? Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's a big fan of his own title, the Yellow Harpoon. Bro, Yellow Jacket, I'm telling you. I know it doesn't work in Korean, but it does work in English. Or alternatively, put on a big, like, white, chitinous exoskeleton with, like, a pinkish red dress and call yourself Hornet. Make your own rules. Well, it fits, I think. He's got those yellow stripes on his clothes and he uses a harpoon too. Can he argue with that? No, but it is a lame name. If I were to exaggerate, even Sina Yi Sang's pre-contract self could manage to learn it, and he was fucking depressing as shit. And weak. Why must this self of mine be chosen as the point of comparison? Well, cause you're the wimpiest one here. Don't let it get to you. I'm the second wimpiest one here. Even so, it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. Oh yeah, just because anyone can do it doesn't mean anyone can do it. I know that sounds weird, but anyone can become an artist. It doesn't mean anyone will become an artist. It's still a skill that requires time and practice and, you know, dedication. As long as you are bound by contract as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. That's why we can't get overpowered and make the game super easy. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance, so certain identities might know Mang and Shin. Isn't it funny how every single Warp Corp, 7 Association, R Corp, and Lure identity don't have Mang or Shin? Very strange. Go figure. Shame, that would have been useful. Hey, and what about me? Can I learn it too? Dad didn't, but I could. Kira, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the middle nurse father didn't use any Shin or Mang. That's true. That's because he was just really big and really angry. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. Damn. The thing is, Matthias was strong enough to back that statement up. And it does say in his descriptions, does it not? It literally says, I don't need a fucking crutch. I'm just really tough. Ah, it wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. Because he was a bitch, and I won. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Damn. Going hard. Vesper's responses always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of the fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she couldn't simply find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue, her expression settling into a blend of frustration and something that looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. Good news, Kira, you could be an anime character. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. Bad news, Kira, you might die. I already said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. I need to remind you all that she is a child. Like, you know. Carrot and stick can be a useful approach, but there needs to be some carrot. You need to balance it. It can't just all be stick. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the sinners treat you with lenience. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price. There was nothing in what Vigilia said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LCE researchers and left us with plenty of memories we'd rather not revisit. But now we're just working together. Not contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings toward her. Leaving Kira alone with her thoughts, the sinners slipped back into their own business, snacks, idle chatter, and conversations about whatever had happened around LCE. It's awkward because she did obviously kill researchers and she kind of relished it as well, and to be blunt, I say she's a child. She is old enough to recognize that she, basically murdered researchers in cold blood. She is verging on being a young adult. But on the other hand, she wasn't exactly given options? It's a difficult one, that. The examination is concluded. Heathcliff is pregnant. What? I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. And before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryoshu returned. To present the conclusion first, no, the notion of the sword being a sentient one is incorrect. The locus of the will is not the blade, but the scabbard, of course. An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature. Yes, that would be the most appropriate description. So, Ryoshu just has ego that she has all the time. Not a sentient sword, huh? Lame and boring, lame and stupid. Ryoshu's grumpy dismissal made the scabbard quiver almost as if it had taken offense. Somehow I felt I could understand what Hohenheim meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. If the scabbard has its own will, does that mean the owner of that will can be resurrected? Because that would solve a lot of problems. It is too premature to deliberate on the matter. The state of existence under question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment. I assume they asked whether it can be revived or brought back to life, so to speak. Even supposing that survival is a fixed variable and that the reconstitution of the original corporeal body falls within the realms of theoretical possibility, the probability approaches zero given the limits of today's technology and conditions. However, wibbly-wobbly light space magic might be a factor. Who knows? We researchers are inclined to entertain even infinitesimal chances, but in the terminology of lay people like yourself, such a prospect would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it? There is no need to fixate on the impossibilities of the present, Manager Dante. Such matters are reserved for us scientists to hold on to. Right. But we may have uncovered a thread, something that could lead to restoring Ryoshu's memories, though, again, that too is merely a possibility. A far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nevertheless. And to that end, yes, further analysis on the scabbard itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. Oh boy. He should still be in the ring nurse father's quarters. That will be all. Oh, and I'm cut himself off there, clamping his mouth shut as if any further exchange might scatter and mess up the theories he'd constructed in our conversation. Stupid people getting in the way of my theories. Alright then, before we go, anyone want to tag along? Munching on food, averting their gaze, the sinners were pretending they weren't interested at all. But going by the way their forks had long since stopped moving, it was pretty clear to me that they'd been intently listening in on our conversation. Where are we to go? Would I truly be any help? I, the wimpiest of the group? No, I'm not letting that one go. Ah, right, sorry, I forgot the rest of you weren't there with us earlier. Faust, Don Quixote, Ryoshu, and I have been checking where each back door leads. And Kira. Oh, and Kira too. Wait, hang on. Again, now, obviously ellipses could be interpreted in a multitude of ways. She might not have been pointedly being like, me as well. She might have just been stood nearby and Dante went, oh yeah, and Kira as well. But if that was a moment in which Kira was pointedly being like, then that implies once again that she can understand Dante, because there was a moment last time that implied that she can understand Dante, which would raise many, 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 many questions. Please give us a 14th sinner. It would be fucking sick. It would be so good. They won't, but God, I would want that so bad. The prisoner of war, executive manager? The most overplayed Rise Against song? Wait, no, that's Hero of War, sorry. Thought I was smarter than I was. We talking about me? Oh, that implies that she wasn't listening, although she could have just been pretending. Yeah, I guess I'm working with them too, yeah. Best remember to tread carefully should you cause even the slightest harm to the executive manager. You will be held accountable without question or exception. Yeah, sure, Kira needled at Otis with a mocking pout, but oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people, just to be safe. One of the doors we went into earlier led straight to the rings corridor. That was a close call. They're probably all the rings corridor. Otis and Heathcliff's hands shoved the moment I finished speaking. I would very much like to accompany you, executive manager. It would be my unmitigated honor. I knew I could rely on you, Otis. Your recognition of my loyalty honors me, executive manager. Otis, understand better than anyone you're concerned about the peril of working with a prisoner of war so liable to betray. To have your indispensable self proceed with only a handful of soldiers under your command, this cannot stand. I'm afraid I won't be able to focus on other duties without personally seeing to your safety. I get it, Otis. You've made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I'll just keel over the moment you summon me. It feels a bit dodgy, that. Better stick by your side and scrap it out myself. Also, my voice lines don't happen when I get summoned, and I have a lot to say, you know. You probably don't need me to come along then. I guess you can just summon the rest of us like you did earlier if shit hits the fan. A research yet unfinished holds my efforts. I shall join you once it has found closure. And he retreats to a quiet room on his own, and he's just putting together like a Lego Death Star or something. And then Dante summons him. His head slumps forward and just smashes it to pieces. That's a really funny mental image. If I had more influence, I'd ask someone to draw that. I don't think I can be much help wherever you're going. I'll pass. I will follow if that is your order, manager. No, it's fine. Just get some rest. Are you ordering me to get some rest, manager? Sure. It'll probably be okay. I can always summon them again if things get too dangerous. Yeah, they're emphasizing this point too much. It's not going to work next time. For now, I should go see Alan again. Ugh. Oh boy, Saru? Saru? Ah, you've arrived. I was waiting for you. Fuck off, Alan. We sifted through and isolated the doors with the highest probability of leading into the Rings Gallery. The next step would be to enter the alternate door you mentioned, but... Hold up a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff. Oh! He's gonna pile driver you at this rate. Huh? Gatekeeping? Are you saying you have more to tell about gate doors? Yep. That door over there, pretty sure it connects to N-Corp's nest. I saw Albina going in, all hyped about some canned, whatever it was, N-Corp's nest. That's quite powerful, isn't it? And that wooden door with bandages wrapped around the handle, Papa would go in there to cross out vengeances. From what the book said, it's probably a turf protected by a thumb subsidiary or something. Also, this confirms, and this hadn't even occurred to me until right now, so that's very interesting, but it kind of implies at the very least that the House of Spiders were working with N-Corp. I'm kind of glad they didn't do this, because I think Rien's story ended very appropriately, and I think it ended very well. But it would have been fucking insane if Rien had joined N-Corp. Like another ridiculous character that we have to go up against at some point in the future again. But I will say I think Rien's story ended the way it should have. Definitely. I hope, if they do bring him back for something like, oh, he didn't actually die though, I'll be a bit like, nah. But I guess, you know, it's one of those situations where I wouldn't necessarily want it to turn out that way, but I probably wouldn't be too upset in the moment. But I do think Rien had an appropriate ending. Unlike earlier when she only offered vague snippets, even about just a single door, Kira was now feeding Alan a stream of intel that seemed solid, even to someone as clueless about the back door as me. She's far more cooperative than anticipated, even after that Alan character roughed her up from what I hear. It was one punch, but it was still way too much. Yeah, you'd think she'd clam up out of spite. I wonder if she changed her mind about cooperating with us, or maybe she's scheming. Nevertheless, we mustn't let our guard down, Executive Manager. There's no telling when she'll turn on us. I can hear everything you're saying, you know. Alright then, based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, I'll continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. Alan tinkered with the devices around him and flashed a couple of doors with blue light. Guess that means we start with those. Where do you guys want to go first? I guess it's time to spin the wheel! Well, they all look about the same, just start with the closest one, fuck it. The tinnies will taste the same no matter which door we go through, right fellas? Well, Alan did say these are the safest ones, so it shouldn't matter which one, it does. Just as I reached for the nearest door as Heathcliff told me to, Ryushu suddenly veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart. This door, it feels familiar. You recognize that door? I think I passed through it a few times when I was little. Hardly had Ryoshu stopped speaking when a fragmented memory, painted over in parts, slipped into my mind. Ah. Sorry, it hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, I know, let's go for a walk. Oh, Saru the pup! I don't recall much about it. That memory just now, could it be tied to Araya? Let's start with that door. Alright, this one, yeah. Here we go. Impatient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open and strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Kira and the other sinners. And this place is a fucking shithole, isn't it? Judging by its state, it seems to be a welfare facility located within a nest, most likely a park. Every sod walking here is dragging some animal along. Means they've got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. The walk the past Ryoshu mentioned in her memory and the sight of people fussing over their pets, yes, she was walking her puppy here. The pieces clicked together and I voiced the other memory I saw back at the House of Spiders. Did you ever come here with a puppy named Saru? Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy, though. Saru was a bit bigger by then. Wait, that's... You know what, let's find out. Sorry, it hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, there's Saru. Oh. Oh, but there's still a little thing. That's still a teeny dog. That's still very small. Why isn't she getting any better? I gave her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Saru? Yes. There's this workshop Dad always visits. The door there's connected to a park. We can go right now. Marvelous. Ryoshu's childhood memory burned bright in my vision before passing. That was her as a kid? Verily, such gentleness doth most seem unlike thee, young Hey, Clock, who said you could show them my memories willy-nilly? I don't choose to do that. No, come on, you know it's not something I can control. GG. Back in the House of Spiders, I was the only one who could see the vision of Ryoshu's past. This time, though, her memories seemed to manifest for everyone around, just like what we experienced in H-Corp with Hong Lu. Which probably means... Why are you staring at me? That's so random, what the hell? Did you not see that just now? See what? You guys zoning out together? Guess it doesn't apply to Kira. Then again, unlike how it was between Lin Daiyu and Hong Lu, Kira doesn't have any direct connection to Ryoshu. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, it's much more distant. Was that adorable hound thy companion of old, young Ryoshu? Indeed, my one and only best friend. And because of that, Saru would be locked away in the vault every time I had to depart on an assignment with a spiral driven through her. Oh, they put her in the vault. Right, I see. The first ever leash. Looking back, it might have been a kind of fate had she died sooner. To inflict such cruelty upon a voiceless animal, how can such wickedness be born? What happened to Saru in the end? She died before her time. I don't recall why, but there was this day when Saru wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room, crying. You were? Not someone else? Who else? Oh, see, it was me. Even after witnessing the fragment of memory, Heathcliff looked utterly unconvinced. And while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution, said he would give me a gift the next day. He turned into a sword. And what I received was... something he would call the Beastbone Blade, a tanto that would whine and yelp in Saru's voice with every swing. It's even worse than we thought. Ew, no way. I always knew there was something creepy with Robo, Unc. So that's how he killed your dog, huh? No, he didn't kill fucking hell. No, he didn't kill Saru. That tanto was alive. Did you just say alive? Bloody hell. Right, none of that psycho. Her eyes were embedded in it like ornaments, and they'd stare at me in accusation. The tiny heart beat as though it was quaking with fear. It was a horrible sight, and I felt pity. So I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands. That's fucked! God damn it, that's fucked! It got me thinking after and all that. Why do you still mess with that art thing then? Let's be honest, after seeing something like that, you'd want to steer well clear, yeah? Right, those things he called artworks were all so cursed, straight up nightmare fuel. Like, I haven't really checked out other Ring artworks outside Albiter and the Nurse Fathers, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that, but yeah, that stuff never gave me any art vibes, for real. I thought the same. Well, I was terrified at first, yeah, as I learned more, there were some facets that suited my taste. Thou findest appeal in those grotesque creations? From what you told me about Callisto, it looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. But there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible, there's a beauty that lies in the grotesqueness of it all. Can't say I quite get it, but if you say so. Nah, but bloody hell, how'd you end up getting used to that kind of thing? Why do you need to understand? You're not an artist. I got used to it, but that bastard Callisto's installation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for... The scabbard moved and Ryoshu came to a pause. It trembled, but there was at once a strange liveliness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors, crying from nightmares, in the House of Spiders? There was actually someone who got scared of ring stuff back in your day? I need to check something. We've seen enough here. Let's go back. Yeah, let's. Nothing else worth checking around here anyway. Plus, it's fucking raining. With the inspection complete, we quickly followed Ryoshu back. She stood in front of the artworks covered in sheets of cloth, lost in thought. Right here, there used to be a huge artwork displayed here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but the bastard went about fussing, saying he needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. Mommy. What's wrong? Oh, over there. So I told you to keep the exhibition in your room. Oh, you've returned, Yoshihide. I decided to attempt installation art of a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Oh, people were screaming. How did Callisto live long enough for Sinclair to kill him? Dearest Yoshihide, Araya has reached an age where she may be introduced into the world of aesthetics. Surely this wouldn't be a problem. It would. You liking it and me acquiring the taste doesn't mean Araya will. It's fucking gross. Let's get you back to our room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. Saru? No, too big to be Saru. The lacerated memories can never be made whole no matter how many fragments are glued together. We could tell Ryoshu everything we knew about Araya, but it'd never truly reach her. I see. This hollow void, this must be Araya. The sensation and emotion for what's been emptied begin to entangle with Ryoshu's memories. And that makes it possible for us to reminisce about Araya together. The soft rattle Araya gave seemed to show how pleased she was with this small step. Alright, time to check out the next door. We entered several more back doors, as Alan pointed out, fortunately spared his dialogue. But unfortunately, none of the places we ended up at stirred Ryoshu's memories any further. Pretty much nothing here. I think we're done. Well, how'd they get in here? It's me, Foxman. Wolf Dog Man Boy. That's my full name. He pulls out his driver's license and that's what it says. Startled, Kira pointed ahead, where figures wearing animal masks were hauling what looked like massive lumps of flesh hidden behind a tent of sorts. Those ring assailants from before? Didst thou not say thou hast sealed that door earlier? How then do these villains come to stand before us once more? They probably infiltrated via an entirely separate route, another back door. Yeah, I put my helmet back on, whatever. As you can see, their objective appears to be the retrieval of Ring Fist 5's artworks. Get on with it! This fucking mask is giving me a headache. We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out. Wait, but I thought Robo-Unk was washed. He's got so many fanboys and fangirls here. Damn, Robo-Unk's so washed. Does his artwork possess value in of itself? Or is it just a case of posthumous premium of death effect? Think about it. His artwork stank until he died, and then suddenly it was cool. Some of the pieces have already been taken. Of course, they have little value to both our companies. Watching them swing and struggling to drag those mediocre pieces with them. Pretty funny. But imagining how those pieces will be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage connected to my name on their description plaques, pretty unsavory. They may be occupied with transporting those objects for now, but they will likely soon find cause to harm the Wayfarer and LCE personnel stationed here, Executive Manager. It would be prudent to eliminate them without delay, considering the Ring's reputation. Also, just killing more Ring members. Like, I know they probably have so many members that this doesn't make a fucking difference, but if a faction is outwardly hostile to you and you frequently have to engage with them or be aware of them when doing your own operations, getting the opportunity to pick off a bunch of them helps. It just does. Otis is right. Better to wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, looks like we've got another job to do. Lend me a hand. The radio didn't buzz with the sinister replies this time, but it should be fine. He sounds like, no, my Lego Death Star. Oh, I love this track so much. Been a while since we've heard this one.
공간을 뭉갠다. 실력 업. 자기 하나 비트. 네.
That track is so good. Also, I really appreciate how a lot of Kira's fighting style, or at the very least one of her skills, is just a straight up unarmed combo. Like, I'm pretty sure I will have edited it in, but in one of those, she just beat the fuck out of that Fovis guy. It was sick. Love that stuff. I especially like unarmed combat styles when used in conjunction with a character who has weapons. And like for just one combo, or even for just one strike, they just put the weapons away and just deck them. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. There's something particularly raw about it that I really appreciate. With this, the last of the ring's infiltrators have been eradicated. Kinda strange we didn't catch them to begin with, but hey. Is that all of them? Ryoshu kept glancing around as if searching for someone, but fortunately no other ring members were in sight. Right, but where the hell were those lot coming from anyway? Weren't just the first wave. Had more of the sods legging it in from the back like they've been lurking somewhere else. I think Wayfarer Company are taking kickbacks from the ring. According to the tracking logs recorded by the surveillance devices installed here, they appear to have crossed over from another corridor. Another corridor? What precisely does the designation another corridor refer to? The room resembling a shopping mall, the one filled with batches of toys on display. Your company, if I recall correctly, designated it as the corridor of the middle nurse father. Oh. Oh. I suggest we relocate there. Your assigned tasks here have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set off, do you have any information to share in advance? We are planning to compile a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the notable characteristics of these corridors and of all their connection loci. Your cooperation will be most appreciated and hopefully lacking in punches. Kira seemed to hesitate, gnawing at her nails as if she were going through an inner struggle. Before long, however, she snapped out of it like she just locked in on a decision. Sure, I got the stuff to tell you, like hella stuff. Some parts are kind of fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can still recall like 20 places clear enough. I mean, it was home for me and Papa, so... I got nothing. I never once regarded that fucker's room as a home, and my memories of it are all fragmented at best. The scabbard gave a faint, restless stir. Perhaps it wanted to comfort Ryoshu in the only way it could. And accompanied by its tremors, we began our move toward the corridor of the middle. Damn. A tour of post-Operation Spider Pie House of Spiders sure is a vibe.
승리의 보람과 세상의 아름다움에 대해 들어본 적 있는가? 없어도 전혀 상관없다네. 지금 우리가 보는 경치가 바로 그런 것일 테니.
Oh yeah, also, I've already used Rodia's fucking defensive skills with this identity off camera, but now I've done it on camera, so no one has to tell me to use the defensive skills anymore. I appreciate the intent, I do appreciate the intent with which that information was shared, but I already knew. I remember actually specifically I had a mirror dungeon that I was like idling, I was barely paying attention to it, you know, just doing a weekly. And I had a fight that went really wrong. I don't remember what the circumstances were, I don't remember what the fight was, but a fight went really fucking wrong, and I was like, oh shit, I actually have to concentrate or I might lose this. And yeah, it was actually, I remember specifically, it was Red Eyes Ryoshu and Eye of Despair Rodia who brought it back, and that's because I started using Rodia's defensive skills. And then she absolutely crushed them, because of course she did. School! This'll be wholesome, I'm sure. The heck, they swiped everything that wasn't nailed down, huh? Fret not, I espy thither half of thy worldly possessions, articulated fixer figurines, video game cartridges. I'm not talking about my toy box, Kay. I had hella many of them anyway. My TV's gone, the couch too. As Kira said, only a conspicuously empty space was left where the television and family couch set used to be. Oh, those elderly rich Dutchers holding them away. From the sound of it, they're going to set them up in their staff lounge. It was an acquisition of resources. As for the leather and the ornaments, they said they'd be selling them off. Yeah? Ota seemed to notice something the moment she caught Kira's wistful look. The corners of her lip curled into a faint smile as she spoke with feigned nonchalance. Ah, don't twist the knife, Otis. Who knows? With sufficient cooperation, perhaps they become more receptive to the idea of returning those items. Assuming much, I never said I wanted them back. Anyway, I'll tell you all about what I know, so come this way if you want in. These two doors here, made from paper and wood, they connect to S Corp. And that one reinforced with steel, that one leads to V Corp, back streets, where... Having lived here and made frequent use of the doors herself, Kira was clearly the right person for the job of identifying where each door Wayfarer her company had asked us to explore led. Also explains how she managed to settle so many grudges. Directed by Kira and accompanied by Alan, we checked the doors one by one. Oh, good work, all there seems to match. Thank you for your cooperation. Until there was just one back door left to open, which had a fight in it. Guaranteed. I'm not even saying anything new, but I've got to say, these back doors are just too bloody convenient. And portals, too. I ain't doing anything shady like the warp trains either, is it? Yours is as simple as turning the knob and entering. Seems to me you'll outpace your business rival in no time. I'm a bit hard-pressed to agree with the tall convenience sentiment when it comes to using back doors and portals, but since your intent was to claim Wayfarer's superiority over the current W Corp, I'll take that as a compliment. Did I say something wrong? I don't know, I can't see his fucking face. Every technology comes with a cost, Heathcliff. Happily said, while this has been a workday relatively free of casualties thanks to the quality information you've provided, you'll understand the Wayfarer Company's primary services include pathfinding, path security, and path maintenance. And pathfinding is a costly business. Being the first person to go somewhere usually means you're the first person to die there. Each of those services is fraught with life-threatening dangers for our employees. Some never return after embarking on a pathfinding journey. Some are killed while battling monstrous entities whose exact natures haven't been confirmed yet that appear in the liminal space between paths. It also costs a pretty penny to keep the secured path, well, secure. I'd say our operating cost is on the rather steep side, especially considering they're also trying to prevent our rivals from taking this corner of the market. Thinking back, I don't think I've ever seen Alan enter a door to a new location with his helmet off. It must be one of his precautions, just in case. Maybe his dry smile and unsettling lack of reaction to anything are hints that he simply seemed too much to be fazed by most horrors. Well, if Wayfarer want to replace the Warp Corp in all of our hearts, they're gonna need to tune up their fucking drip. Because so far, it's not fucking good enough, lad. Still, our work's gotten considerably easier for this job thanks to the help from everyone here. Honestly, this partnership is working much better than I'd expected. I only punched one child today. Very well, then let's take a look at the last door. Ah, that's the door Papa used to walk through all the time. Probably should be careful with this one. I followed Kira into the door, and the second I crossed over the threshold, a breeze carrying an oddly familiar, salty smell tickled the tip of my well, one of my clock hands. Ah, a giant Stingray port ship. This one connects to somewhere in the general Great Lake area, it seems. It's been a while. Welcome to U-Corp's giant Stingray port ship. Stingray, huh? Why does that ring a bell? Hang on a minute. It's that place, isn't it? That port ship, that Salon du Molière. Pronounced incorrectly on purpose. The private air salon. Heathcliff chimed in with a shudder as though the sheer weight behind his words terrified him, because there's a strong chance of finding Ricardo here. Oh, doth it signify then that shall we finally made audience to young Heathcliff and his hairdo most luscious? Oh, quit it with that luscious nonsense, lad. Why encourage me now when you were so cavalier about blasting my villainous ass back in the lake? Indeed. Alas, 'tis true that punishment wrought upon our merry band hath severely outweighed the crime. Wouldst thou not agree, young Heathcliff, that to put the coupons to use would remedy thy pain a smidge? Or to just give them back to Ricardo? That might help. Oh, bugger it. I ain't even got anyone to spruce up for anymore. Damn. Sweet, then can I use them? We were regulars at that Molyneux place, Papa and me. Papa would ask the middle fam for a favor and he'd bring loads of coupons back home. They give away a hair coupon every 10 visits, you see, so I... Oh, what am I even yapping about all excited? Kira, who'd seemed ready to launch into a cheerful rant, came to an abrupt pause like a bike tripping over a ledge. Her face fell as she lowered her gaze and scuffed a pebble away. Looking back, I guess Papa did hella care for me, so why... But it's also true these guys went out of their way to get me out of there even though they didn't know me so well. Oh, why it's gotta be so complicated? Don't start spelling Avril Lavigne at me, alright? Matthias gave you that unaesthetic bowl cut. The heck's a BC? It's bowl cut. Bowl cut. Bro, listen, like I said, that's not how you shorten these things. For some reason, Ryoshu seemed almost gleeful to hear Kira correcting her acronym, because it's reminiscent of Araya, but Ryoshu can't physically make that connection. which might lead to an interesting dynamic between Ryoshi and Kira. It was reminiscent of that self-satisfied look she'd get after confusing us with these acronyms, especially during the early days of our bus journey. Thinking back, ever since Sinclair's translations became reliable enough, the sinners had less reason to voice their frustrations when Ryoshi's acronyms, which in turn gave her fewer causes to snicker about. So she gets annoyed with Sinclair because Sinclair keeps unveiling the mystery of her acronyms to everyone. I'm not sure why, but something tells me that she might be making her acronyms ridiculously incomprehensible on purpose. If your conjecture is correct, Executive Manager says she has one tasteless sense of humor, not like I, Otis, comedian of ages. From my recall, the toys and games he was into were pretty retro. Must have been annoying to play along. At first, but the more I played along, the more I got into it. Still corny and juvenile as shit, though. I know all of that conflict within the... Indeed. It's why Dad Quixote was the sickest motherfucker ever. He was a ton of fun. Trifling and apocryphal they may be, yet we are all compared to peer hindwards at the interests of the family. Yeah, I wanted to know what Papa was into to really get what he was talking about. Besides, I needed to know these things if I wanted to chat him up and talk about mutual subjects, so... He'd tell me about you all the time, Yoshihide. Proud shit. Not a day went by without him saying stuff like, Yoshihide learned this in 2 days, or, yo, this was Yoshihide's fave, you know? Too bad I wasn't here to tell you those words weren't worth shit. I once thought of him the same as you do now. A good man, at least among the nurse fathers, caring enough to bring me gifts. But one day I realized that he'd never understood the things I really cared about, even if his life had depended on it, yeah. One day, thou sayest, pray tell, was there aught that had changed thy perception of that man? I think. I might not have been directly on the money when I said it at the time, because there was a fair bit of discussion during Canto 9 that I did. But I think I might have identified this failing of Matthias's. I didn't identify the fact he's a fucking psychopath, but this I think I did kind of interpret from him back then. We'll see how accurate I actually was. That's... I don't remember that when or why, just that it happened. Wait, I might know this. Wasn't it something that happened at school? Papa told me that things started getting awkward between you and him ever since you quit school. Bullshit, I've never been to school. But Ryoshi was like, oh, I should have done my homework quicker. Come on, Saru, let's go for a walk. That might have referred to, like, specific nurse father shit, though. I never even thought of wanting to go to school. Matthias must have been talking out of his ass again. No way, bro. I even saw a clip of it. What? Papa showed me that video when he was teaching me how to use these doors. I even saw baby you going, I'm off to school, Dad, in that video, so I'm pretty dang sure. But I don't... As Kira went on, Ryoshi's confidence in her initial retort seemed to slip away. I couldn't blame her, so much of her memory had been mutilated. Ryoshi didn't sound like she was denying it out of hand, though. She seemed to mean it when she said she'd never been to school and had never even wanted to. And I once to glimpse a fragment of memory that made her say that. The moment I willed it, a scene from her past suddenly flashed across my eyes. Very well, Yoshihide, I'll register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. There is a subsidiary of the ring, oh boy. Academy. You sure it was a school? A lot like an art academy or something like it? Wait, that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, it must have been an academy, not a school. Academy of Art. Ryoshi muttered a few words as though they were pieces of a puzzle she was assembling. Then, after a brief moment, she turned toward me with an astounded scoff and a look of mild irritation. Clark, you deserve a smack. To be fair, from Ryoshi, that is extremely mild. Stop showing everyone my memories. Then lightly smacked me upside the head with her scabbard. What was that for? This memory sucks, Clock. I would have been just fine without it. At least I got to remember the incident that changed my perspective on Matthias. Dad, how do I go to a school? School, Yoshihide? Well, I don't see why you would wish, let alone need, to go to such an institution when we nurse fathers are here to provide you with all the education you require. You would later find our unique style of homeschooling to have been much more enlightening than trudging through any of the nest's formulaic educational systems. But Dad, I saw him in a picture book. And I don't have any friends here. Oh, Rien and his pointless. But it is true that there are qualities that can only be learned through group erudition that engenders competition. Very well, Yoshihide, I will register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. Really? Yes, and that's definitely not a monkey's paw. Trust me. Trust me, bro. I intend to send Yoshihide to an academy as part of my educational curriculum. There is an Academy of Art, a subsidiary of the Ring. Companionship with other talented children of approximately her age will nourish the spirit of inspiration that will guide Yoshihide's growth. It was totally my idea. Sorry, I can't hear you. I got another beep. The prescript approves. But Callisto, I'll tell you now that you might be making a mistake. And how are you so certain of that? Do elaborate if you can, hand puppet of the prescripts by whom every aspect of existence is articulated. What do you even know of choice? What is right or wrong? Damn, Callisto. That wasn't a block encounter so much as Rien lightly brushed some dirt off your shoulder and you uppercutted him in response. And off they went. Perhaps a little more situational awareness would have prevented what is to come. Callisto had found me a rather decent academy. The artworks that used to scare me when I was alone weren't so bad when I was with other kids. No, that's not quite it. It would be more accurate to say that I started to understand people's perspective on beauty. Of course I would, when all we ever did was nod along to the lecturers and spout purple prose, all the while making pincushions out of people's bodies like it was nothing. Ah yes, more trauma. Our lesson today will focus on corpus techniques. Now take a good look at the diagram here, and then the mannequins before you. Weave the blood vessels in the same pattern as the diagram, and... I don't know why we're even learning about corporate stuff in this day and age. Right, I don't get what the point of the slog is, tying and shaping blood vessels to make a colour that a drop of ink can do better. I read that in a book. I'm more excited to learn about cubist technique than this crap. Honestly, why is this washed up movement even part of the curriculum? It's just boring, shallow gore stuff. No, it's just gory, but it's boring and shallow only because you guys are bad at it. Say that. Whoa, you mad because your daddy's a lame corporist? Oh, is he? No wonder her stuff is just as... Ow! I was taught that people who say bad things about my family deserve to get their butt kicked. So get ready for round 2, shithead. Them bad-mouthing Callisto wasn't actually what set me off. I didn't have any special reverence or attachment to family like Matthias did either. It's just what I was taught to dislike, that's all. Just one of those tantrums kids of that age have. Kids will be kids and all that. I'm home, Dad. Hey, buddy, you're home early. Oh, man, must have been playing rough today, huh? You got dust all over. Got into a fight. A fight? A fight? Yeah, they kept saying dumb things about class stuff, so I smacked them. What about you? They didn't hit you anyway, did they, buddy? On my cheek, but it's okay, because I punched them this many more times. Did I do good? That's my goal. Dad? Where are you going? Oh, you know, just got business to take care of. Why don't you sit tight and work on a coloring book? Dad'll be home before you know it. Okay, is it bro business? No, it's... puts on shades. Family business. Stupid asshole. I ain't seen what's so bad about taking care of your own. Them snotty sods don't learn respect unless you beat into them. They also don't learn respect if they die, Heathcliff, and I think they might have died. Because I don't think Matthias is very good at pulling his punches. If only he'd been a simple-minded fool like you, then the story would have ended right there with a pow on my head. What? It'll end with another one if you ain't careful. Papa, I mean the middle doesn't stop there. It never does. You hurt a member of the family, that automatically gets you written up in the book. Yeah, and he did what he did in the end. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, ho. Well, he didn't kill the child, so... there you are, Yoshihide. Is class started already? Oh, my diligent little girl. Wonder who she takes after, huh? Dad? I know. I said I'll be back before you know it, but I got lost trying to find my way through the ring bastard's tricky mazes. You know how they are. Oh yeah, and there are so many sniveling brats here. Well, as for their crimes, they slapped my buddy's face hard enough to leave a mark. That's an arm for you. As for the instructors, well, wait, that's an arm for you? Are you saying you ripped off the arms of children? As for the instructors, well, anyone would agree that they did one sorry job of keeping these tykes under control. In that case, pursuant to Title 2, Section 52 of the book, execution by beheading. They clearly don't got much use for what sits on their shoulders, eh? How do you like it, buddy? Papa's the best, ain't he? How dare he? Such senseless, barbaric violence. Uncultured, uncivilized animal. He ripped off the head of my teacher. Fucking hell. Do not be discouraged, dearest Yoshihide. I have hired yet another academy worthy of your talents. It is a much more significant and prestigious institution this time. I assure you that even an intemperate berserker like Matthias won't dare force his way into such a place as he did the previous academy. Don't wanna... Yoshihide? I don't wanna go to an academy, I don't wanna go. I don't need friends anyway. For all his posturing, nothing that was ever important to me held any significance to Matthias. He took a lot away from me just to feel good about himself. Yeah. And I think, because I'm trying to remember the things I said in Canto 9, I don't want to claim credit for working out shit that I didn't actually work out, but I think this does tie back to what I said back then, which was he does, you know, the whole bombarding of gifts, and he does the fathership stuff that makes him feel like he's a good dad without actually putting the work in to do things that are beneficial for his kid. You know what I mean? Yeah, I bought my kid a Maserati. I'm a good dad. I'm not going to bother to look into their substance abuse, though. That's an extreme hyperbole-ridden example, but I hope it conveys the kind of dynamics I'm trying to get across. He's a likable character. He's a crappy person, though. So I hoped he, more than anyone, would never find out about the things I held dear, because I was afraid he would take them all away from me like he did the others. But he'd always catch on faster than he had any right to. Every contract that took me away from the House of Spiders made me tremble in anxiety. Because I was worried about, I don't remember what, but I do know that I could never stop thinking about my room. Because we literally saw a cutscene with Matthias saying, like, if that fucking kid holds back our dear Yoshihide, I'll fucking smush it into paste. And yeah, so, you know, Ryoshu had every right to be concerned. So whatever occupied the room in my absence must have been the most precious thing to me in the world. The scabbard, which had been stirring lightly as Ryoshu recounted her past, soon began to rattle audibly. It's doing that thing again. Ryoshu patted the scabbard with a gentle, reassuring hand. This is a nice dynamic. I like this a lot. I hope this continues. Ryoshu and the scabbard. I like that. The scabbard that was once Soraya, a memory without attachment. It appeared to me almost as though she was pacifying a crying child. Seeing that gesture, Heathcliff briefly cast a sullen yet faintly expectant gaze between Ryoshu's scabbard and my device. He must be thinking back to his last conversation with Catherine. But Catherine's existence, unlike Raya's, was erased by the Golden Bough itself. I doubt this device could do anything for Heathcliff at this point. From everything we know, the ring nurse father seems to have been the least awful parental figure in your childhood. I don't know about that. 1, the literal flesh mannequins. 2, turning her dog into a living tortured weapon. All I'm saying is, it's been over 10 years, maybe even verging on 20 years now, and people still haven't forgiven that fucker from Full Metal Alchemist for what he did to that dog. So I don't think Callisto's getting forgiven anytime soon, okay? Yeah, didn't know the Robo Unc was such a radical guy. He sent you to an academy like you wanted and even got angry on your behalf. Here's the thing, though. Callisto wasn't angry on Ryoshu's behalf, as such. He was, I suspect, he was angry at Matthias for ruining a learning opportunity and also for attacking and damaging a ring institution, an institution of art, as it were. I don't think it was necessarily, like, anger on behalf of Ryoshu's well-being. Oh. Hazy memories, almost forgot to mention. A few days after that, Callisto left a snowman by my pillow as a gift. It was made of heads! Okay, look. When we talked about this last time, a lot of the nurse fathers did their best in the only way they knew how, but they are deeply flawed and fucked up human beings. Matthias had good intentions, but he was a dickhead. Callisto had good intentions, but he was a dickhead. Rien had good intentions, but he was a dickhead. Valentina just sucked. And so did Ryomi. But they have aspects to them that make their behaviors, their attitudes, and their parental styles not acceptable by any stretch, but understandable. You can see how they turned out that way, if you know what I mean. Heads? Yes, decapitated heads from the incident at the academy, threaded together into a sculpture. Thinking back, it was one sorry excuse for an art. He's sorely mistaken if he thought some low-effort bullshit like that could make me feel better. Could have spared us the details, lass. Well, with that covered, you guys want to head back? Hang on. Oh, what's up? Gonna get that luscious treatment before heading back? Shy at you, that ain't it. Look, those blokes walking out of the salon. Fucking hell, you guys everywhere. And your mask doesn't look luscious at all. Fovis, ain't they? They found us. It would not be odd to find a field branch of the Ring's art movement in different districts of the city, especially that of the Fovis scale. However, various evidence such as their masks and the fact that our group has immediately drawn their attention suggests that they are in the same pack as the one making regular incursions into the House of Spiders. This is LCB speaking to Team Leader Alan requesting immediate commencement of lockdown sequence. Copy that. Then why don't we... Holy shit, guys, stop! Bloody hell, what? Don't you know where you are? You're smack dab in the middle protected turf. Cause a scene and bros and sisters in the middle will be here in any second. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be a problem for even more reasons than Kira realizes. We've already drawn the Ring's unwanted attention. We certainly don't want the middle coming after us to the House of Spiders too. And we really don't want Ricardo showing up either. Sounds like you've got a GI. Talk. Ever played whack-a-mole? Like, why give ourselves a countdown? Just head back through the door now and beat up whoever thinks it's a great idea to walk in through the door. She puts forth a sound strategy. Executive Manager, as long as there's no high-ranking officer among them, it would be to our benefit. Well then, let's do as Kira says. Yeah, this is a good strategy. It's useful in Barotrauma as well. And XCOM, come to think of it. Oh, that was quick! Alan blinked, shooing us a puzzled look as our entire squad came pouring through the door long before he finished the lockdown sequence. Due to newly emergent complications past the door, we have concluded that this location is the optimal point to intercept and engage the infiltrators from the Ring. This location, you say? Oh, wait, that door leads to a dome under a syndicate or a Wing's protection, doesn't it? Better idea to fight here, then. Happy to work with someone quick on the uptake. It wasn't long before the Fovis began rushing in through the open door. I didn't want to summon them while they're relaxing, but nah, it can't be helped. And I summoned the Sinners back to work. No, my Lego Death Star again, I just finished it.
이 정도쯤은 바이올렛 브레이크 슬랩! 야! 아르카나 세이버! 으타! 먹어치워라! 해골바가 내 죄는 내가 알아서 처리해. 브레이크 슬랩!
Very nice, very nice, very nice. That team is absolutely fucking ridiculous. They are so strong. I don't even play them, like, efficiently, because I don't need to. Okay, and that about wraps up the Middles corridor. Thanks to you folks, we managed to cut the door cataloging workload by 80%. I really appreciate everyone going the extra mile to check each and every door too. Made my life a whole lot easier. It's all thanks to the manager's excellent strategization. I, Otis, do not require proper pronunciation. Next up, the Thumbs Corridor. But we actually found a lot of intel lying around there, so we just need you to check some of the doors in its basement. Intel? The manager expresses interest in the aforementioned intel. Ah, that. In the Thumbs Corridor, we came across a bundle of papers detailing the comings and goings of the Thumbs members and orders they were carrying. Whoever wrote the logs has been diligently keeping them updated. The last entry was written not so long ago. While the contents of the notes weren't all that interesting, they helped us get an idea of where each door in that corridor leads to. Found Gina's shitty scrap papers. She'd been keeping up with that useless shit this whole time. Useless shit? Remnants of her desperate search for a thread to cling to. You found one of her backup ticket hoards. Ah. I've marked any doors that need work with a drone. There should be about 3 or 4 of them. While you guys do that, I've got some leftover work to take care of over here, so... I've been noticing this throughout our interactions, but whenever anything irrelevant to his work came up, Alan seemed to have a way of unhearing and maneuvering right past it as though he didn't register what was said, almost as if he's like a fucking robot. Recalling our conversation with Chisara back at P Corp, that deeply uncurious indifference might just be one of the essential personality traits to go on as a corporate employee in the city. Understood. We will explore the areas past the marked doors and return here. Thanks a ton. Well then... With Alan returning to where the other Wayfarer Company's employees were huddled around, we decided to follow the corridor to the left. Hey, there's something in there. More of the ring, maybe? Nah, it's a fuck ton of cockroaches. Going by their silhouettes, they're unlikely to be members of the ring. Come on, lady, get out of my way so I can see. Oh, it's the detective, some stubbly guy I don't know, and that annoyingly airy dude. Sounds like Moses, Gregor, and Hong Lu, respectively. He's awake! The trio's conversation grew clearer the closer I approached them. You okay, fella? You bumped your head earlier. Ah, fine as a fiddle. It was just a minor fall. This is the 3rd time it's occurred. We ought to discuss this issue with the manager once this consultation is over. I think I'm seeing a bump on the side of Hong Lu's head. Anyway, you know what to do, right? If at any moment you see signs of... Don't worry, Gregor. You made it through the explanation and the footage both. You're going to be fine again. I believe in you. Look at you now. We're right where it happened, but your arm is stable, see? Ironically, fear tends to grow most unmitigated when it is distant and unseen. I understand what you might be worried about, but I don't even see the earliest portents of it. So don't hesitate to share the unfiltered thoughts that arise while you're in here. I know what I saw in the footage, but I'm still having a hard time believing it. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm just avoiding the truth when it's staring me right in the face. My case is nothing like Don Quixote's. She just needs to keep her shoes on and it's all good and dandy for her, isn't it? Things don't work out that way for me. Whatever they're talking about sounds hella deep, guys. You sure about eavesdropping on him like this? That geezer's always weirdly cagey about himself. Maybe now's our chance to learn more about him. He's sharing such an IS about himself for once, why walk away? Don Quixote gives a nonsensical interpretation of Yoshu's acronym as Kira rolls her eyes out of exasperation. Between the bickering sinners and Kira, however, Otis stands in silence with an inscrutable look on her face. She's listening to the exchange between Moses and Gregor like a woman possessed. Okay, let's keep listening then. Otis was right, damn it, she was right all along. The war isn't over, it never was, and it can't ever be over as long as this fucking joke of a gift stays attached to my arm. Barbed words. Now let's revisit a question you couldn't answer while the footage was playing. Hopefully it's become easier to answer now. You've been using that arm to fight just fine so far. How? I don't mind fighting hostiles or enemies. I'm not the kind of person who worries about people trying to kill me. But killing my comrades, well, that changes things, doesn't it? I can't even control it. There's nothing I can do to even brace for it. It's unstoppable, like some kind of time bomb counting down to unleash a disease you never know when its symptoms will set off. Even Heathcliff, who was always the first to step up when people began to spiral into self-hatred, stood in conflicted silence, his lips drawing a hard, straight line. Besides, Gregor wasn't wrong in that, at present, there wasn't any way to stop his transformation should it occur again. We still got a good chunk of the journey left, and eventually we'll have to... No matter what lurks in the past of us sinners, even if they've killed hundreds, thousands, no, tens of thousands of innocent people, will you still embrace them? We'll eventually have to confront an even darker, bleaker truth of the war. Can I really trust Gregor not to crumble under that inevitable pressure? I see, you're afraid you'll end up hurting us. Well, that's... At first I thought I couldn't give a hoot about whether or not I accidentally murdered some of you. It's a bit saddening to hear that. Although I think Gregor means purely because they can be resurrected. You know how it is, Hongler. We, the bus team, didn't exactly get off to a rocking good start. That's true, although Gregor was probably the most immediately friendly after perhaps Hongler. But through our journey, I've begun to think of you all as my comrades, and I was okay with that because I had too much faith in my own weakness. When I realized that I'd grown so weak that I couldn't even take down some backstreet thug with this arm, I was relieved. Imagine that, the same arm, my arm, a weapon that stabbed the heart out of countless people during the Smoke War. I'll be honest, when that Hohenheim fella said that I was an exception, the thought alone made me hope. Exception, a potential to be harmless, weaker than even a non-combatant like he sang. It made me hope for a life that didn't sound so bad. We all know how that went though, don't we? Blew up in the worst possible way. And after all that, I just couldn't bring myself to fight again, because I no longer know when this fear would eat me up again, because I'm constantly afraid of this damn gift manifesting again. Same fear you've carried all this time. How did you endure it before? Badly. Barely. Holding on to the idea that the living's gotta live on, and nothing else. This really brings me back years. The memories are so clear, it's like they all happened yesterday. Best you kick me off the bus before push comes to... That can't be the answer, Gregor. You can walk away, but the danger of our journey won't leave with you. Dante and the rest of us will still be facing an endless repeat of peril. And it's not like leaving the bus will bring peace to your heart. Our deaths can be reversed should an accident occur, even if it comes at the cost of Dante's suffering. The same can't be said for most people in the city. Oh, well, that's something I never expected to hear from you. I guess you're right. If we're seeing this through to any kind of end, this would be the place to do so. Not many places in the city have some warmth to them like this one does. Boy, this consultation thing's pretty embarrassing. I mean, it's not like I was forced to go through something as traumatizing as yours, Hongler. Truth be told, I'm not some special case. Everyone who participated in that war must have gone through more or less the same experience. Miss Moses, Otis, and even Valentina, that piece of work. We can't attach a number to our misfortunes as if there's something to be measured. When I fled from my past, I tried my hardest to avert my eyes from it, but you, Gregor, you're not like me. Every few steps that distanced you from the past, you'd come to pause to spare a look toward the path you had walked. All those years I let slip by, all those that slipped you by are dotted with fathoms of suffering that are both ineffable and beyond measure. Different experiences, different pain. Still, if there's one thing common to everyone, it's that trauma leaves after effects that linger for a long time. What are yours? I dislike loud noises and people who talk too much. Damn it. Should hate this channel. They sound too much like the cacophony of the war, like screaming comrades who resented me even as they lay dying, and the wounds they left in my heart bled me dry. But I thought you were fond of Miss Ezra, Miss Moses. I've talked too much. Oh. That aside, haven't you heard your fill? Might as well come out from that corner you're hiding in. Oh, what a surprise, you knew we were there. Oh man, they knew we've been dropping eaves this whole time. I was just waiting. I was actually waiting for just the right time to come out and say a few words, but couldn't find an appropriate moment to. Well, I would have had to share this with Manager Bud or the rest of you fellas sooner or later, so I don't really mind, but. What's she doing here? TA. Temporary ally? No, temporary accompaniment. Don't be an asshole. I'm working my ass off to help you guys. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You're right on time. I've been working on a theory, but I don't have all the clues to be absolutely certain. A word from someone in the know may immensely improve my confidence in the theory. Kira, do you know which door the Thumb's nurse father was most attached to? No, duh. Duh? That's supposed to be obvious. Didn't you guys all see her? You think I'd just chat up a scary lady like that? Dude, she was beating the ever-loving shit out of Lucio every time I saw them together. Yeah. Oh yeah, he went down fighting you guys to the end, huh? Yeah, said stuff about her generosity and all that and fought till he died. Because the sinners don't know that he was totally planning to fucking stab her in her sleep, just not yet. Damn, that's unexpected. Being real for a sec here, I thought he was totally going to swap sides. Yeah, me too. It's almost as if it was written that way on purpose. To make the audience think that. Really? That lad? Why is that? You know, the vibes. You guys don't know because you haven't seen him long about the scary lady always looming over him. Hey, Lucio. What's up? Gonna stab her right in the spine? Don't give me ideas. Look, I think you might be training wrong because, like, you're not improving as much as you should from all that grind. Let me show you what I learned about sword swings from this comic book. That's not how my master has instructed me. The textbook cannot be permitted to have even a single deviation if it means to repay the debt it owes her. Why are you so obsessed with all that crap anyway? You don't even like that old lady. It's not the point. But you're not so different from me in that regard, are you? Bro, the heck are you talking about? I love my papa. Seriously, I thought things were going to crash and burn before Yoshihide even came home. I suppose textbook and I had that in common. And if this one doesn't know, let me redirect that question towards you, Tsunaryoshi. Hopefully this touches upon one of your more intact memories. Do you know which of these doors the Thumb Nurse Father showed particular attachment to, or the door she used most often? Why ask me? Fine, yes I do remember. Don't even need Clock's help to piece it back together. It's that one. The door with metal pieces dangling from it. Holy shit, I almost died out there. Fuck. Son of a bitch. Fucking fly. Where do those G-Corp fucks even drag these gross pests from? Mom, are you okay? Do I look okay to you, Ticket? No, not really. I'm fine. You know I don't break easy. You should have been there to see me tear the head off that G-Corp vermin, Ticket. But Mom, your leg's bleeding a lot. And that's one of those places where if you bleed from it a lot, it's real bad. Yes, my doctor identity does exist, as it turns out. Here comes another mission. Boy, they really can't do shit without me, huh? So much for a break. The fuck is this? Bandages for you. Is this kid serious? They got truckloads of expensive treatments on the ready to patch me up the moment I get back to the Oh, okay, never mind that. Hey, this works. Mom? Sit tight and don't start any trouble. I'll teach you some sword techniques once I'm back. Must have been her years in the smoke war. I suppose so. Yeah, fighting in the war took a lot out of her and left her perpetually exhausted. But she marched every battle with a smile, stopped drinking, stopped beating me too. Like a blissful idiot who forgot that she was still neck deep in the inescapable pit called the House of Spiders. I'm so bad at remembering the time frame in which the Smoke War took place, because it didn't occur to me that Valentina was fighting in the Smoke War whilst she was in the House of Spiders. I assumed, obviously not now, but I previously assumed that her fall from grace and subsequent membership in the House of Spiders occurred after the Smoke War. I assumed that the Smoke War was like the height of her fame and power, right? Possibly due to that, she became so important in the Thumb and then promptly fucking threw it away. But no, by the time of the Smoke War, she'd already thrown it away. Well, the ironic peace didn't last. Sometime after the war ended, someone she called the consigliere of the Thumb visited the House of Spiders as a tutor. And that's when she went right back to drinking herself into a shit-faced stupor day after day. The beings returned, and so did the edge in her profanities. It was pathetic. Hold on, why though? Sure, I was on the losing side. But wasn't Valentina on the winning side? A war hero at that? Ever heard of the regulation that prevents Smoke War participants from moving into I-Corp and K-Corp nests? I have now! Yeah, Otis is familiar. The common thread between those post-war rules is that they make the lives of veterans difficult. Dubious rules that don't discriminate between winners and losers. I see, there must have been a lot of things going on behind the scenes there too. But doesn't that mean that back door will drop us into a trench they dug during the war? During the war? Yes, and Gregor will be the one to open it. Wait, me? Yes, others can do it for you, but what would be the point? You sure this won't end up just giving him more nightmares? I don't see how this helps him in any way, trained psychologist. Look, you might have a fancy fucking degree and years of experience, alright, but I grew up in a barn, alright, I see your point. We do not have any means to treat whatever it is that slumbers within his arm. However, I would surmise that the underlying cause of his sudden transformation wasn't the arm itself. Then what? It's his psychological state, I would assume. It's trauma. His arm took control after his psyche was crushed by the weight of the unspeakable memories coming back to haunt him. It's not because the arm went berserk that he started reliving his painful past, it's the other way around. Isn't that so? If you can come to understand that the war is really over, and that what others say, no matter how closely they echo the past, is not necessarily aimed at you, then you may be able to loosen your grip on the fear and anxiety that your arm could metamorphose at any moment. While her suggestion may seem blunt, it is one of the basic treatment principles of M-Corp's psychotherapy centers. I assume this is rooted in psychology, yes. Fine, then. Guess I'll open it up. Gregor walked up to the door, grabbed its handle, then paused, taking slow, deep breaths. And with one arm, he gently opened the door. Why are you running? You should be taking the lead on the front lines of our G-Corp banner held high. I don't want to die! Well, it's nice to have a place to go back to. Yuri? Oh, right, these are all memories. Yeah, these are all Gregor's memories. Yeah, Yuri. I don't want to die. It's nice to have a place to go back to. All right, happy 15th birthday. But you can't possibly have the cheek to call me cruel. You G-Corp pests were far more messed up than I ever was, ripping people apart, cannibalizing them. You were nothing but a swarm of fucked up monsters. Thought I'd woken up from the dream. But I was still... Ooh, we are getting Gregor stuff. Fucking finally. I love Gregor stuff. And combat. I assume it's going to be Fovist. It might not have necessarily been the best play, but I was kind of hoping that it would be like a Don Quixote Sancho situation where we were going to have a little rematch with their transformed state, as it were, but with Gregor this time, but it might have been a bit predictable, admittedly. Yay! Gregor, let's get you in there. Oh no, I can't do it. Hang on. No smoking. This place. It's just a boring old office. I was ready to be shook, thinking we were about to walk into a war zone or something. You recognize this place? Yeah, of course I do. My last job before Limbus Company. Oh, of course, you had to find normal employment somewhere, didn't you? And my desk was over there. Here's a tip, fellas. When you're working in an office like this, always get a corner desk facing the wall if you can help it, unless you hide from the boss man. Out of sight, out of mind, you know? You can do whatever you want that way. Work, chill, or even freak out in terror at the slightest sound of metal clinking. Nobody will catch you, nobody will think you're a bother to other people. Gregor grins, a bitter, mocking smile directed at himself. The only downside of this desk arrangement being people walking up behind me to get my attention. Higher-ups just had to holler, "Hey, vet hire," and I'd scuttle right up to them, but others can't do that. So whenever people walked up to me from behind, I'd get afraid that I might cause an accident. Vet hire. Must be about the post-war veteran special employment. Right, but I couldn't possibly complain. Wouldn't have gotten that job without it, you know. Not everyone was lucky enough to be considered for that. I was better off than most. Gregor? Oh my goodness. Head manager Ted? Manager Esquire Ted? Gregor whipped round, his hand instinctively leaping to his other arm. There was an unfamiliar man in a clean suit standing behind us. Does that guy have a Hitler mustache, or is that just a shadow under his nose? Anyway. It really is you, Gregor. Oh. And I see some new faces with you. Oh, wait. Oh, you folks must be the accountant the guys on the other team asked us to leave the meeting room open for. Landed a new job, eh? I see you've got a new employee card right there. Well, so how have you been doing? Me, same old, same old. Well enough. It's not like I've got anywhere else to go, right? I'm not surprised you found new work so soon. You were always a dependable guy. Is the pay good? How's life, man? Oh, yeah, you were going to sell that commemorative coin, some kind of medal, right? Hope you got paid good money for that. Look at me, asking how's life to a fellow citizen. Can't imagine anybody would have anything good to say to that, huh? Moving on. Hope no one's hounding you with that vet hire shit over there. No, not at all. There's none of that here. Hey, that's good to hear, man. Glad you don't have to deal with that dang jackass of an exec VP messing with you like he was a war veteran himself. You know how many years I had to hear that geezer bragging about how he profited from the war, pulling himself up by his bootstraps, fucking hell, about how in every peril there's an opportunity waiting to be found, blah, blah, blah. I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? Ha, ha, ha. That guy, huh? Is he still taking his sauna breaks during work hours? Ha ha ha! What do you think? His seat misses his ass every day. Ha ha ha. Oh, and get this. Remember how he used to call you special employment fellas Nepo Force? A few days ago his name showed up in the HR report, and guess what it said? Turns out he was lining his pockets with kickbacks when we were choosing the fixed office for a partnership project. There's about to be a vacancy in the office real soon. Really? Isn't he, you know, an actual Nepo? Thought he was the president's family. Yeah, man, it's that bad. It's what anyone ever talks about by the water cooler. If there's anything I learned here, it's that people obsessed with back in my days are all kinda like him. They hate how their glory days are behind them, kinda like a distraction from how pathetic they are now. This is getting surprisingly deep. And hey, a backstreets kid like myself don't have glory days to look back on and yearn for, right? I look back and it's all doom and gloom, you know. If you ever hit rock bottom, you also know the only way left to go is up. You've said something like that before, yeah. Ah, yeah, I guess it's my own brand of bullshit philosophy, huh? Oh boy, look at me running my mouth in front of our customers. Sorry about that, folks. I just absolutely aired out the company's dirty laundry in front of customers. I guess I'm getting fired next, aren't I? Shit. Oh, don't worry about it. Can't understand you, Dante. That's a pretty unique prosthesis you've got there. No worries, but it seemed that you were on your way to submit those proposals. Gee golly, I'm late. Oh, thanks for snapping me out of it. I'm gonna get one heck of a scolding. Anyway, Gregor hit me up sometimes. Go catch up over a drink or something. A couple cold ones with the boys. And his, voice trails away as he walks down the fucking corridor. Sure, if I get the chance. The man who seemed like Gregor's former co-worker hurried away, but he didn't forget to wave us a good-natured goodbye. Ah, I could see a little bit of him in the way you talk, Gregor. Come on, I don't sound as old as he does, do I? Moses, who had been quietly observing as Gregor and his former co-worker chatted, exhaled a light stream of smoke and slowly began to speak. Many of us who returned from the war seem to suffer from a certain misconception. When we are told to remember, it does not mean we are bidden to live through the nightmare of the past over and over again. We are not being cursed to relive the pain and suffer in it. Both Ezra and I, we're both still trying to be free of the misconception we inflicted on ourselves. It's not like I remember because I want to. Well, if you can't bring yourself to forget them, I might as well include in your memory the fact that the war has indeed ended. Fine. You're not wrong there. Gregor stared at his right arm for a while, quietly contemplating. Manager bud. Can't say I can give you any reassurance, but just going on with my life seems to be the best answer for now. I want to ask if you're okay with that, though. I'll manage, but it's you who's going to have to deal with the aftermath. Gregor would always say the same to those suffering from the cruelty inherent in living. Still, live on. Just live on. Yet even as his lips spoke those words, his eyes would take on a desperate and unfocused look, shaded beneath despair. Today, though, the gloomy grey seemed to give way to just a hint of the blue sky beyond. This may be no more than a single ray of the sun peering through the dark clouds that have long suffocated the sky. It would probably take much more than this for the shadows to be fully lifted, but don't you worry, I'll be fine. It's a big step forward for him to have addressed even a little bit of that persistent anxiety from his past. When we emerged from the door, we saw Otis facing away from us, her weapon drawn. Wait, I don't think she even followed us through the door. Go figure. Ah, were you here the entire time? Yes, I was told by that Allen figure that someone has to stay behind and watch the door during these operations. So I stayed and... hello. Oh man, it's these asshats again. Weird, the corridor's not a place for those newbies to be roaming around on their own. As you can see, a few uninvited guests have decided to visit us through a different door. I looked past Otis just in time to see more Fovists pouring into the corridor through a different back door. They must be trying to find a way to get to the Ring Nurse Father's corridor. Oh, we can't just let them through, can we? Kill them all!
지금이다. 대골바가지 거미 대가리. 자!
설마 벌써 죽었냐?
Very nice, very nice. Welcome back, Gregor. Good to have you. Okay, I think we can leave it there for today, friends. Some good stuff today. Very good stuff. Lots of good stuff, actually. Plenty of good stuff, you could say. Because I did say that, because it's true, because there was a lot of good stuff. I need more of these. Yes, please. I do very much enjoy getting to continue with this stuff. And this Intervalo has been great so far. There's been a lot of very good stuff in it. Obviously, we were going to get Gregor back in relatively short order, but it's still good to see the process in which that occurs. Poor guy's been through a lot, and it's only going to get worse. So, yeah, best of luck to him. And the situation with Ryoshu and the Scabbard is very interesting as well. I'm enjoying that dynamic. I suspect that by the end of this Intervalo, we'll be fighting Benoit. I'd be surprised if we didn't, because we've only been fighting Fovists up to this point, so I assume that's our final encounter lined up. But I'm curious... I don't know, curious about a lot. We're definitely leaning more into Otis's shit, which is very interesting, because we just haven't done a lot of that up to this point. It's interesting, because I believe Merceau is next on the chopping block, and we still know fuck all about him. But my dogs are barking, literally, not figuratively. So I'm going to start taking us out of this. Friends, thank you so much for watching. It's been a good time. Special thanks to our members and patrons: AKFD1M40, Fladen, Uvlaka, A, Anarchy, RZ22, Cosmo, Catty Madness, Boomer2935, Catristal, Red High, Spectrum, The Lord of Moth, Him Percy, Ego, Franklin Merlo, Enki Deput, The KV2 Menacing, Boyby Bay, Red Star, Kim Takeo, Elkavia Calf, Hotcherman, Christopher Hoos, Donut, Honor T, Age of Chaos, Geigen Cali, Prince of Lemons, Moon God Megan, Volwolf Miscreant, Rockeriku, Crescent, Tony the Horse, Lilac Sire, Abyssal Angie, Princeps, Giacomo, Superstitics, Vihard, Mighty PH, Ensistora, Lanthelion, Gage Johnson, Saga, Rory, Jack Ninjog, Emma Fox, Grand Captain General Peace, Mean Babby Back Turtle, Kurds, Canis Samaria, Portrait of Breck, Lifesteal, Unclever Name, Summercat Flanny, Painted Shagoon, Proxy, Caminera, Moa, Harik J, Dresso, Slol, Etherbin, Linky, Zeon, Cedar Bin, Watout Care, Honeydew, Sweet Baby Red, Just Keep Us Only Pie, Dream Ghost, Up by K-Bob, Magical, The Frostbite, and SCP-106A. Force for me on YouTube and on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you all so much for watching. Oh my goodness. I'd like to try and round this up in another episode, like finish the Intervalo in another episode, but I don't know how far along we really are, how far we've got left. And I'm not going to push myself too far lest we get an episode where I start phoning it in because I'm tired. But it would be pretty cool to wrap it up quickly. I don't want to keep you guys waiting for too long. And plus, I've got 3 active series going on. Now I have 4 because we're going through this Intervalo. It would be worthwhile to wrap this up quickly. Not rush it. Definitely not rush it. I don't want to rush it. But definitely wrap it up sooner rather than later so that we can go back to a 3-series rotation, which I'm then going to need to kind of try and wrestle with to get that back down to 2, with Project Moon then coming back in whenever it's available, because that's an easier system. But we'll see what happens. That's for me to worry about. I'm just thinking out loud. Once again, apologies for the rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Whatever happens next time, hope I see you there. Doodles. Goodbye.